Good evening, and welcome to Daily Top Bulletin, bringing you the top 10 current affairs headlines in the most simple, clear, and exam-focused format for UPSC and competitive exams. Every headline is carefully selected to keep your preparation ahead of the competition. Let's begin with today's top 10 news.
18th June, 2026. 1. International Relations. Historical Islamabad MoU signed between U.S. and Iran to end West Asia war. What happened? U.S. President Donald Trump and Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian have signed a breakthrough 14-point memorandum of understanding, the Islamabad MoU, to officially end hostilities, immediately reopen the critical Strait of Hormuz, and dismantle the U.S. naval blockade. Key facts to remember. The Strait of Hormuz is a vital global chokepoint connecting the Persian Gulf with the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea, handling roughly 20% of the world's petroleum liquids. The resolution brings massive economic relief to India's energy imports and secures safety for thousands of Indian merchant mariners stranded or at risk in the region. 2. Economy. RBI approves record rupee 2.87 lakh crore surplus transfer to the center. What happened? The Reserve Bank of India, RBI, has approved an unprecedented surplus payout of 2.87 lakh crore to the Union government for FY 2025-26, marking a massive surge over historic baseline averages, which typically hover between 30,000 to rupee 65,000 crore. Key facts to remember. How RBI generates surplus. Through interest earned on government securities, GSECs, foreign exchange interventions, buying-selling dollars, and returns on foreign asset gold holdings. Framework. Payouts are guided by the Bimal-Jalan Committee Economic Capital Framework, ECF. UPSC Mains Dimension. Central bank dividend transfers qualify as non-tax revenue for the Union government and are not part of the divisible pool shared with the states, altering the dynamics of fiscal federalism. 3. Bilateral trade. India and EU set final free trade agreement, FTA, deadline for year-end. What happened? On the sidelines of the G7 summit in France, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen announced that the ambitious India-European Union Comprehensive Free Trade Agreement will be officially inked by the end of 2026. Key facts to remember. Bilateral trade negotiations were originally relaunched in 2022 after a 9-year hiatus. Major roadblocks historically include data secure status, EU agricultural subsidies, carbon border taxes, CBAM, and Indian tariffs on automobiles and spirits. 4. Bilateral trade. India-UK FTA finalized, implementation date announced. What happened? Overcoming a tense, 11th-hour deadlock regarding steel import duties and quotas, the Indian and UK governments have officially declared July 15, 2026, as the official implementation date for the landmark trade deal. Key facts to remember. This marks India's first comprehensive FTA with a major developed Western nation since the India-UAE CEPA and Australia ECTA. For India, key focus areas include lower tariffs on textiles, leather, and footwear, alongside easier visa access for skilled IT professionals. 5. Social justice governance. House panel urges Gov to raise education spending to 6% of GDP. What happened? A parliamentary standing committee report has raised concerns over India's low public spending on education compared to neighbors like Bhutan, 7.47%, and Maldives, 4.67%. Demanding an immediate ramp-up to hit long-standing policy mandates. Key facts to remember. Both the Qatari Commission, 1966, and the National Education Policy, NEP 2020, explicitly state that public investment in education must reach at least 6% of GDP. Currently, India's total education spending stands at approximately 4.12% of GDP. 6. Supreme Court/gender equality. Justice V. Mohana appointed to Apex Court, highlighting judicial gender gap. What happened? The formal appointment of Justice V. Mohana as a judge of the Supreme Court, has made history. She is only the second woman advocate in independent India's history to be directly elevated from the bar to the Supreme Court bench. Key facts to remember. Justice Indu Malhotra, 2018, was the first woman advocate directly elevated from the bar. Underrepresentation of women in the higher judiciary remains a crucial GS paper II topic. Constitutional examples for comparison. Belgium mandates a minimum 1/3 gender quota for its apex court. South Africa's Section 174(2) legally binds the judiciary to reflect national, racial, and gender demographics. 7. Defense and indigenous manufacturing. Defense decade data shows 110% jump in indigenous production. What happened? New Ministry of Defense performance audits spanning 2014-2026 reveal that the net financial value of domestic defense production surged to a record rupee 1.78 lakh crore in FY 2025-26. Key facts to remember. The transformation has been driven primarily by positive indigenization lists, PILs, issued under the Defense Acquisition Procedure, DAP, which effectively ban the import of 5,012 specialized components. Domestic defense orders are tracked online via the indigenization portal called Srijan. 8. Cybersecurity/Science and Tech. Center issues advisory against Border Gateway Protocol, BGP, hijacking. What happened? Following major network misdirections impacting key financial services, India's cybersecurity agencies have flagged advanced cyber-tactical risks tied to BGP hijacking. Key facts to remember. What is BGP hijacking? It is a cyber attack or severe technical accident where internet traffic is maliciously rerouted. It happens when a network operator falsely advertises IP address ranges it doesn't own, corrupting the internet's global routing directory. 9. Environment/renewable energy. Compressed biogas, CBG, blending hits 2% milestone. What happened? Official data reveals that India has nearly doubled its compressed biogas blending percentage to 2%, keeping the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas on track to meet its statutory targets. Key facts to remember. The government has mandated a 3% mandatory blending of CBG in CNG, transport, and PNG, domestic, networks for the current financial year. This target falls under the SATAT, Sustainable Alternative Towards Affordable Transportation, initiative, which aims to reduce carbon emissions and tackle agricultural crop residue burning. 10. Reports/indexes. IIT Delhi tops Indian institutions in QS World University Rankings 2027. What happened? The QS World University Rankings 2027, released early, showed strong gains for Indian institutions. IIT Delhi topped the domestic category for the second consecutive year and climbed to an international rank of 118. Key facts to remember. QS evaluates institutes on indicators including academic reputation, employer reputation, faculty-student ratio, citations per faculty, and international student-faculty ratios. The improvement reflects the progressive impacts of the government's Institutions of Eminence, IOE scheme.
Thank you for tuning in to Daily Top Bulletin. Stay updated, stay prepared, and stay ahead in your UPSC and competitive exam journey. We'll be back tomorrow with another set of the day's most important current affairs headlines. Until then, keep learning and keep growing. Good night, and see you in the next bulletin.